Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, doing the preview for Saturday, December 11th. I'm doing all the matches that I heard of. And it's only about 4 or 5. It's not a lot, because there's 3 different cards going on Saturday. You got an ESPN card, which is the best one, that features Lomachenko and Richard Commey. I'm going to talk about that fight and a couple fights on the undercard briefly. And then you got 2 other main events going on during that day. On DAZN earlier in the day, Conor Benn, undefeated welterweight, takes on Chris Algieri. Later on that night, Nonito, the Filipino Flash, Donaire, battles Raymart Gaballo for his Donaire's WBC title at 118 pounds. So, just going to run through these 3 cards, and give a full weekend preview. That way you guys can check them out. Let's start with the fight that's taking place earlier in the day, though, and that is, sorry about that. That is the DAZN card. The undercard features Katie Taylor defending her undisputed title, so you might want to check that out. But the main event is the one I'm going to break down and get in detail, and that is undefeated welterweight on the rise, Conor Benn. I want to say he is 19-0 with 12 knockouts. He's an impressive and talented fighter, and he's continued to grow his brand with victories over, better than nobodies. Samuel Vargas is kind of a nobody that's been in there with good fighters. Ultimate stepping stone, and he blasted him out in the first round. But in his last fight, he took on Adrian Granados, a veteran, tough fighter, and went the distance with Granados. Got a clean decision in that one. Granados fought hard, though, but he got a clean decision and left no doubt. And that was a good name to get on his resume. And now he's just trying to add to that by fighting the former junior welterweight champion, Chris Algieri. Algieri was a guy that defeated Ruslan Provodnikov back in the day. His losses have come against Manny Pacquiao, Amir Khan, and Errol Spence Jr. So this is a guy that he's a tough guy that wants to prove himself, but he's a light punching veteran, been around a while, and I think Conor Benn is going to have his way with Chris Algieri and really just outwork him. And I think Conor Benn's going to stop Algieri. I think he's going to break him down and stop him, and prove that he is a force to be reckoned with, and climbing those rankings. And you never know, he might break the top 10. I'm going to evaluate all my top 10s starting basically next week, the middle of the month. I'm going to start breaking down all my top 10s so I can get them together for my year-end awards. But yeah, you never know, Conor Benn might crack the welterweight top 10. Welterweight is totally shaken up now that Manny Pacquiao and Sean Porter have retired, and Danny Garcia likely moving to 154. There's some big names, but there's a lot of new young names moving up, and I think Conor Benn wants to add himself to that mix. He might crack the top 10. If not, next year he's going to be in that discussion, possibly an eliminator of some sort, and working his way into bigger things. So that one is on DAZN earlier in the day from the United Kingdom. Main event, you're probably looking around 2 or 3 o'clock. Again, I got Conor Benn winning this one by TKO, middle to later rounds, and pushing forward. Now, Showtime. I have not seen what the undercard is, but I don't care, because I know it can't be anybody major. But the main event, Nonito, the Filipino Flash, Donaire, the future Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, continues to drink from the fountain of youth, as he has just the last couple years just shocked the world, moving back down to 118 pounds from featherweight 126, and making such an impact. He gave the monster Naua Inoue hell, a couple years back now, and he is just moving forward to bigger things, and hopefully a rematch with the monster. But he's taken on Raymar Gaballo. And this guy is nobody that Donaire needs to overlook. Gaballo is undefeated, 24-0. He's got 20 knockouts. And he's, like I said, 24-0, 20 knockouts. And he is he also is coming off of his career best win, a split decision victory over Emmanuel Rodriguez, who's a former champion at 118. So again, this guy is nobody for Donaire to be overlooking. Donaire needs to be ready. I think he will. He's a veteran. He's looked sensational at 118. I think he's going to knock this kid out, but you never know. It could be a slugfest. So Donaire needs to use his boxing ability and try to outwork and outbox this guy and set that big left hook up. And I think he will. Donaire has showed me that even at his age, he is still very dangerous and badass at this weight class. Comes in great condition, and I think he's going to stop Gaballo in the middle to later rounds and leave no doubt, as he wants that rematch with Naoya Inoue for the unified 118-pound championship. So that's on Showtime on Saturday. Don't miss it, Donaire and Gaballo. Now the ESPN card. Real quick, Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of the greatest fighter of all time, Muhammad Ali, is fighting on the undercard as he takes on, he's just staying, and continue to build on his resume. I think he's 2-0 now. The kid looks good. He's talented. You should check him out. He's not a bad fighter. He's got the talent, and everybody's got their eye on him. So check him out. He fights on the undercard on ESPN. The co-feature, though, Jared, the real big baby Anderson, takes on Alexander Teslenko in a big heavyweight matchup. Now, Jared Anderson, he fought on the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 3 undercard a couple months back. He's 10-0 with 10 knockouts, and he is just trying to build himself up to where he's a legitimate contender. And he's taking on Alexander Teslenko, which shouldn't be too tough of a test for him. Teslenko's 17-1, but he hasn't really been in the ring with the creme de la creme of fighters. And his lone defeat was to a guy that had a shitload of losses. So, yeah, this guy's not, he's kind of a stay busy opponent for Jared Anderson, but Anderson does not need to overlook him. He needs to go out there and wipe his ass out. So 2022, he can start maybe taking a step up, those step-up opponents, those guys that potentially are the gatekeepers. He needs to get the win here. I think he's going to do it. I got a knockout brewing early rounds, as he will stay undefeated at 11-0 with 11 knockouts. But the main event, you have a great lightweight matchup. Two former champions going to go at it to prove who's the former champ that's going to move forward and be a serious threat. You got Vasily Lomachenko, the Matrix, pound-for-pound fighter right here, fighting for his second time since his controversial decision loss to Teofimo Lopez last year. He destroyed Masahiro Nakatani back in June, dominated him to a 9th round TKO victory, going in against Commey, who lost to Teofimo Lopez by an upset second round TKO back in December of 2019, 2 years ago. But he returned earlier this year and took on Jackson Marinez and destroyed Marinez over 5-6 rounds in a fight that a lot of people thought was going to be competitive. It was not. Commey dominated and proved why he has been one of the best lightweights of in this division, in and around this division for the last 5 years. He's been just a stud, and he wants to continue to prove that and leave no doubt. And he's taking a big roll of the dice, but it's a good matchup right here for both these guys, Lomachenko and Commey. But Lomachenko is hungry. He wants the big fights. He wants to make the history and leave his legacy. And I think he's going to continue to do that going in against Richard Commey. And I think he's going to stop Richard Commey in the later rounds and dominate dominate this fight. But Richard Commey is a good fighter. He's a good lightweight, and he is gonna come to fight. So I'm looking forward to this one a lot. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I'm picking Lomachenko to win this fight by a TKO. So again, Lomachenko and Commey, Jared Anderson and Alexander Teslenko, and Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali, are on ESPN, ESPN Plus. On Saturday, you got Nonito Donaire against Raymart Gaballo for the bantamweight championship of the world at 118 pounds. That's main eventing Showtime. And then you got Conor Benn, undefeated welterweight, on the rise, taking on former champ Chris Algieri. That's on DAZN earlier in the day from the United Kingdom. And that's it, guys. That's the preview for Saturday, December 11th. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.